and your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only like 11 people alive of the 200-something crew, and the entire ship was rotting down to the waterline. That's destiny. That's will. That's striving. That's being a trailblazer, an explorer, going into space, mathematics, quantum mechanics, the secrets of the universe. It's all there. Life is fiery with its beauty. It's incredible detail. Tuning into it. They want to shatter your mind talking about Justin Bieber.
Hello out there. Whoa. We're on the air. Happy Friday, everybody. I know. It's not Friday, but it's Friday to me. And so it's Friday to you because you're here with me right now. And this one's titled Bitcoin is a Journey, Our Return to Sound Money. Oh, what a title. What a title, what a show. It is going to be a historic show today, as you can see right below my breasts here. Historic show today. Historic show today. You are going to want to stick around for this one. And you're just going to have to trust me on that one. Oh my God, that's a nice breeze coming in here. Hey, that's a breeze of breezes. Look at this. We got a couple friends over in Zapstream to start the show today. We got Chuck. Chuck with the first Zap of the day. That's going to earn him some points, as you'll soon find out about. Chuck earned himself a couple points. He might turn that Zap into a bigger Zap. Because that's the thing about lightning. That's the thing about lightning and energy is it must flow. Energy must flow. So we'll see. We'll see what I'm talking about here soon. But Chuck, thank you, man. And look who else is over there. We got Letha, the icon. The icon herself. Icon. Letha with a big Zap to start the show today. Letha has also earned herself some points. What? Points for what? Points for what? Who knows? Look at this. Marco just earned himself some points. Marco with a nice comment in the chat. He says, I love this show. I really do. Well, Marco's on the board. Marco's on the board. And we'll find out soon. We'll find out soon what I'm talking about here. But we're going to get right into things here. Letha with a little Zap. No, not a little Zap. A little emoji with a winky smiley face. Like this. It's hard to do. Oh, what do you figure today, Arn? What should we do today? What are you eating? What are you doing back there? I never know what he's doing back there. Oh, he's gone. Stuck around for a while today. Is he going to leave or is he going to sit? Thinking about it. Oh, there he is. Some days I just wonder if I should just put Arnie on a live stream for 2 hours. I think that'd be a good live stream. I feel like there'd be more people that actually watch that than watch this show, which is sad, but that doesn't mean it's not true. Emoji Charade says Cedar Sats. Try another one. I can't do that one. I need some props. I need some water. No, we're not doing that. Cedar, don't try to mess with me today. Okay, well let's kick things off here. Let's kick things off. How about that? We got some good tunes rocking today. We just heard I want to play it again. This is a good song. This is one of my all-time favorites. I don't listen to it enough. It never really comes on, but this is one of my all-time faves. 19 You Plus Me. Weird name for a song, but it's a good song. It's a good song. Dan and Shay. That's where Sean came from. Dan and Shay. And if you've never heard Dan and Shay before, let me show you what you should do. Well, you could listen to this song, 19 Me Plus You. It's kind of like you might not like it. You might not like it, but Dan and Shay have very good voices. And this song just kind of takes me back to maybe university days. So it's more of like a feeling for me than an actual good song. So, but this is what you will enjoy. This is what I'll give you. Nah, I'll probably get taken down. Probably get the stream canceled today. But this is Dan and Shay singing the U.S. national anthem at the World Cup this year. Probably the top 3 renditions of the anthem I've ever heard. Probably right up there with Chris Stapleton. I don't know which one I like more, honestly, between this one and Chris Stapleton, and I don't know what number 3 would be. So this was a good one. If you got some time, I don't know. It's kind of weird to listen to a national anthem, but this rendition of it was very, very well done from Dan and Shay. So anyways, let's get into her today because it is Fat Zap Thursday today. I'm going to be gone tomorrow. I got a big weekend ahead of me. And I'm excited about it. So we're feeling good. We're feeling fine. We're going to have a great show today. Historic show, as you can see. But let's check on the progress here first. I don't want to give too much information away yet because I want to let it kind of happen organically here. But some of you might be able to tell what's going on so far. But let's see. Let's see where we're at today. This is the mempool. This is the mempool. What is the mempool? The mempool is a place where transactions go to live. There's places where things go to die, but the mempool is where transactions go to live. And it's a pretty important concept to understand in Bitcoin. Because when you send a transaction on the layer 1 network, and that's the main net, that's what this is. So on the main net, on the layer 1 of Bitcoin, you can actually go back and you can see every single transaction that's happened in history. And the number here, the 960,264, that is the block height. That's the time in Bitcoin. That means there's been 960,264 blocks since the very first Genesis block back in January of 2009. So you could go back through every single block from 1 to 960,000 and you could look at everything that's happened. Everything that's happened. And it simply does not get any more it couldn't get more transparent than that. But when you send a transaction, it goes over here. It goes to the green side. It goes into the mempool, the memory pool. And then it'll just sit there. Your transaction sits there in the mempool until one of the miners picks it up and puts it into a block. And once it's in a block, once it crosses this line right here, it's there forever. Assuming there's no chain splits or any bullshit like that, which we might see in about a week from now. We might see some orphan blocks, some orphan transactions. But when it's operating at normal, you send a transaction, it goes into the mempool, a miner picks it up, puts it into a block, and that transaction lives there forever. And the further it gets into the chain, the less likely it is that it ever changes. So here we go. This is the big news in Bitcoin right now is we got 1,368 blocks remaining. And then Bitcoin changes forever, or maybe not. Maybe not, but it will be. There will be history made in 1,368 blocks from now. And I saw Forrest's video pop up on YouTube yesterday. So Forrest is going to be live streaming this historic event in Bitcoin where BIP 110 mandatory signaling begins in 1,368 blocks. And I'm going to be joining him for that, hopefully. If I'm around, if I'm awake, I will be joining Forrest for that. Kind of exciting, honestly. I think it's, I don't know. I don't want to jinx it, but I think it's probably going to be a big, I wouldn't even be jinxing really, maybe reverse jinxing. But I think it's going to be a big fat nothing burger. I'll probably look back on my time. Oh, speaking of that, maybe not. Look at this. Roughnecks might have something to say about that. Let's see how many blocks they've got. One. One. Let's see how their last day has been here. Oh, there's two. Roughnecks seems to control that. That's the thing that I don't really like about BIP 110 is there's like two. Everybody complains about the mining centralization in the regular Bitcoin with Antpool, F2 Pool, Foundry. Oh, they've been getting some blocks here. Look at that. Four in the last 5 hours. But these are like the two main miners who are mining for BIP 110 right now, Roughnecks and SOV. I don't know if there's anything other than that to report, honestly. But anyways, I think it'll probably be a big letdown. I don't think anything will, but it'll be fun. Be fun to do with Forrest and whoever else decides to join us up there. But you know what we should do right now quickly? We should tell Nostr that we're live, and we should tell Twitter that we're live. We are live. Join us for some Bitcoin talk. How about this? Join us in the live chat. You're going to want to. You're going to want to be here today. Okay, there's YouTube. YouTube and Rumble. There we go. Okay. So yeah, that's where we're at today. So what is that? 9 days, looking like August 9th. But when we go to BIP110.com, it shows something else. It shows August 8th at 9:30 p.m. So I don't know which one's right there. I would probably trust the mempool more than this. But this also says 1367. I just don't know if this one takes into consideration the look at this video. So I would probably try. Oh man, this is pretty good. This must be like what are these movies? Not National Lampoons. Help me out here, chat. What movie is this from? What movie is this from? Frick. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Somebody tell me, please. Maybe it's not even from that, though. But anyways, getting too far off the rails here. Okay, time chain today. We got the block height is 960.265, so it looks like we just had another block there, which was mined by Ocean, the Roughnecks. And I don't know how rough their necks really are. It seems to me more like a facade, if you know what I mean. But I don't know. That's the thing about me. Vic says Mel Brooks. No, I'm thinking of like what are those stupid the stupid movies from like 30 years ago. Oh man. My dad absolutely loves those movies. I can't think of them. They're not National Lampoons, but they're like a similar like series of videos like that. It's like National Lampoons and then the name of it. Monty Python's. That's what it is. Monty Python. That's what it looks like. One of those movies, Monty Python. Monty Python. Wow, look at this. What's going on Zapstream today? Zapstream's buzzing. Bzzz. We got Plural's over there. Plural gets himself on the board today. We got Scotty Boy said, I want points too. Okay, you got it, Scotty. Hey, Scotty, we got to chat, man. I have an idea. I have an idea with you. Yes, Praetorian was correct. Monty Python. Monty Python. You guys are a little bit late though. Oh well, it's good to use your brain. You know what I mean? I never ever, actually, that's a lie. I did recently. I was trying to think of what this restaurant was for. Me and my dad were sitting there trying to think of what this restaurant used to be called. And we were going back and forth. And he started with a word that wasn't close to like what it was, and it kind of fucked with everything. So we sat there for like honestly half an hour trying to come up with this, and we were just both saying things, and we finally we couldn't do it. So Mom had to tell us what it was. And I don't like that. I like trying to figure things out. But we got Duncan. Duncan's on the board today. He sent a big zap, a DCA, daily coffee average. So $3 worth of fiat today gets 4,636 sats. And Duncan said, good morning, beautiful people. Good morning, Duncan. Letha says, Scotty, are you on your stream? Mine says page not found. And yes, Kevin was correct. Kevin might have got that actually before I said it. Monty Python, he said. We got Mark. Mark's going to get some points for that one. Points with a big zap. Happy Fat Zap Thursday. Enjoy your weekend with the boys. Hey, Mark, how was your weekend with the boys? How was your weekend with the boys last week? Go good? But thank you very much, Mark. That's a big one today. Okay, so actually, we'll finish with the time chain, then I'll get into things here. I'm going to do my best to keep the show tight today. We'll see how that goes. But I do have to go because I'm heading out. I'm heading out for the bash today. The stag. Probably thinking, Jory, you're a little bit old for a stag, aren't you? Yeah, I am. I'm actually old enough so that this is a second stag for one of my buddies, which means he already had one stag that we went to, and that marriage failed. So we're on to number 2 here. So I'm at that age now where we're doing secondary stags. Although I haven't had a stag yet myself, and I'm looking forward to that one. I've been thinking about that for everybody thinks about that. That's one of the main benefits of getting married, isn't it? To get to go on a stag. Is marriage a scam? I don't know. I think the idea of marriage is good. Like the idea of, whether we were supposed to or not, that's probably up for debate as well. But I like the idea of it. I think that our culture has really fucked things up. Culture, our money more than anything else. I don't think you'd find anything worse for marriages than monetary stress, financial stress, and that's all created by the fiat dollar. Very under appreciated aspect of Bitcoin is that less fighting. I guarantee you, if we zoom out 100 years from now and we return to a sound money standard, the marriage rates will begin to just drop. Let me show you. This is actually going to be one of the things we're talking about today. So we might as well just get to it early here. See if I can see this. See if I can find this quickly. It's hard on my eyes. Oh, look at that chart. Oh yeah, I got to bring that one up later. Marriage. Where are you? Divorce rate. Well, you might just have to trust me, or I don't want to spend too much time looking for this. I thought it was on here though. Divorce rate. Ooh, number of lawyers. Huh. I mean, that's probably the same. PhDs, robbery rates, incarceration rates. Oh, here we go. Boom. Look at this. What the fuck happened in 1971? Look at this. Divorce. Oh, this is divorce prevalence. But I mean, the divorce rates are way up. I don't think anybody here would disagree with me there. And if you think about why that is, it's pretty simple. It's because the money is broken. The fiat dollar, everything broke in 1971. When the US went off the gold standard, everything broke. And everything's kind of skyrocketed in the worst kind of way. So I think that if we look back, let's just let's take a little time travel here to July 30th, 2126, 100 years from now. If and when we return to a sound money standard, this is going to go the exact opposite. Everything's going to start falling. All the crime rates, all the divorce rates, all the everything's going to just drop. Because if you think about what causes a lot of stress in a marriage, it's financial stress. I don't know too many people who are immune from financial stress in 2026, even rich people. Because here's the thing, as your wages go up, as your salary increases, so does your lifestyle. That's how the fiat world works. You get a raise or you get a bonus, you usually spend it on something. And so there's actually more to lose at that point, especially with the changes in the workforce in the last 5 or 6 years with the COVID stuff, with the AI stuff. There's a lot of people who had very fancy, expensive lifestyles who are now earning much less or nothing. And so you might think that having more money solves the issue, makes your marriage better, but that's not the case. And so there's been a ton of financial stress put on the man and the woman, the husband and wife. And it's very difficult to overcome that. Almost impossible, because with fiat, your money melts every single day. The money that you have, it melts because the government prints more money every day. It creates more units of money every day. And every unit that they create, they make yours worth less and less and less. And so that causes a lot of fights between spouses, between the man and the woman. And usually it usually leads to something that maybe ends the marriage, but it all stems from fiat. It all stems from a broken monetary system. And so when you fast forward 100 years from now and we return to sound money and spouses and families no longer have that financial stress of the rat race and just working harder to maintain, everything changes. Everything changes. Divorce rates will be a big one, but everything else, the quality of our food will go up. The quality of our life will go up. If you look at some of these charts on here, the first marriage rates, the baby rates, the birth rates, the young adults living with parents rise to levels not seen since the Great Depression. And it all starts here. So you see where this is in 2020, it's probably way over the screen now, but we're back at the we're higher than the Great Depression era right now. And it's all caused from what happened in 1971. School shootings way up since 1971. Incarceration rates since 1971. Everything is broken because of the money. We live on a society that's built on a foundation of shit. literal shit, because they have the ability to create money out of thin air. There's no energy that's required to create these units. And they create them and they flow into houses, into the stock market. And if you don't have assets, you just get further and further behind. That's what the K-shape economy is. It means that the rich get richer. The rich goes up like this as more money's printed, and the poor get poorer, because those people who don't have assets, they're making the same amount of money, but everything around them costs more and more. So that's the equation here. This isn't fucking rocket science. It's just our money broke in 1971 and nobody really realized it. So whether we go onto a Bitcoin standard, whether we go back to a gold standard or a mixture of both, if we look into the future, this cures everything. This fixes everything. It's not going to be perfect, but all these trends are going to go reverse back to where they were back in the 1930s, 1920s, when we were actually on a sound money standard. Look at this, 0 school shootings or adolescent shootings, 0 in the 40s. And even at that point, the money was starting to break. Ever since 1913, that's when it was. It really started to break in 1970, but it started to break. It was cracking and shattering starting in 1913 with the creation of the Federal Reserve. So when you fix the money, that's why you hear people say Bitcoin, fix the money, fix the world. And it's true. And it's not because everybody's rich. It's just that everybody is playing by the same set of rules. Because again, you have to understand that when money is printed, when governments print money, it flows into these asset classes. And only the wealthy people, the high income earners, they have the assets. So they go up, they get richer. But everybody else who's living paycheck to paycheck or in debt, they fall further behind. That's what the K-shape economy is. K upwards for the rich and downwards. And that trend continues and the gap widens forever as long as we're on a fiat standard. So a return to sound money would absolutely fix many, many, many things in our life. And it will. Because I would argue that fiat has already broken. And we're just kind of watching it die now. Unfortunately, some people are still stuck in that system. But yeah, broken money equals broken marriage. But the cool thing about Bitcoin is, like, you don't have to wait for anybody. You don't have to wait for anybody's permission or anybody's instruction to do it. It's not a top-down kind of thing. It's grassroots. It's voluntary. Anybody can start storing their wealth in Bitcoin and kind of go away from all this. Start moving in the other direction today. Simple. And you don't need much either. That's the crazy thing. I think if you look at if Bitcoin was distributed equally amongst every person on the planet, I think the average, it would be like 200,000 Satoshis. 200,000 is kind of like what you need to be equal to everybody else. But that, of course, doesn't consider all the coins that are locked up for forever. So it's probably more like 50,000 sats, which you can buy for like $40. So a lot of people, like, a large percentage of the population will go out and they'll spend $30, $35, $40 on their lunch today. And they refuse to look into this Bitcoin thing. So we got nobody to blame but ourselves. But, the reason why I'm here is to try and look at this. This is just nuts, man. Every single one of these charts. This is the robbery rates per 1,000 in 5 European countries. Look at that. Like, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. To anybody who's willing to look, I guess that's the thing. It's so obvious to anyone who's willing to look. Okay, let's get into her here. Scotty boy, is this the right place to get a helicopter? Yeah, Scotty was buzzing last night, man. I was laughing at that when the backpacker family was doing their draws and Scotty kept winning. We're having some fun with that. Jake is here. Good morning, Jake. Says, boom. Good to see you, Jake. Sketchucation is here. Rich, Chuck, CWH, been hot this morning with the fat zap. And it looks like there's some action over on Rumble too I need to tend to. Chuck may be in the mix for Satoshi hat trick today. We'll see. We will see. There is Letha right there. Frumble 2021. Good morning, Letha. Great to see you today. We got 30 people watching over on Rumble right now, and we got a pretty good ratio. 18 people have pressed the thumbs up. So we got a good crew on Rumble, a good crew on Zapstream, and a good crew on Rumble today. We're everywhere. We got a zap here from David T. David T says, good morning, Letha and Visionaries, and zapped a nice 420 zap there. Like that one, 420. Okay, we got Let's Faux Live. Zap 21. Thank you. Kevin says the amount of wealth stolen from families by the bankers is staggering. I'd estimate the figure is more than 90%. Imagine that Western family life would be like with 10x or 100x the wealth. No doubt. Oh my God. Imagine what the Western family life would be like with 10x or 100x the wealth. Well, the cool thing is like that's where we're going back to now. That's what we're moving back to right now. We're in the process, and some people are going to be able to get there a little quicker than others because they put in the time to understand. But yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. There's Letha. There is Letha. I'll leave her up on the screen for a while. We love Letha. Marco's here. Good morning, Marco. Cheers, brother. We got the thumbs up. Press the thumbs up. Press it wherever you're watching, except if you're on Zapstream, then you got to zap. There's no likes on Zapstream. Vic's here. Good morning, Vic. Maria 2500. Maria 2500. Good morning, Visionaries. Good morning, Maria. Bitcoin Barber, the barber himself. Good morning, Bitcoiners. Good morning, Barber. Hey, Midwest Picker's here. Look at that. Good morning, Midwest Picker. Cedar. Good morning. Good morning. Great to see you, Cedar. Me and Cedar had a lot of time together yesterday. We were in many chats. Jerry just decided that he's going to do 4 shows a day. That was my reaction to that. But was I in all 4 of them? Yes. Was I in the chat for all 4 of them? I was. So we'll see what happens today, Cedar. I won't be able to be in. I might be able to catch 1 today, maybe, if I'm lucky. But good to see you, Cedar. 6'5" Sats. Mark, happy Thursday to you, my friend, and thank you for the big zap. Barbara says, good morning, Joe. A few clouds in the sky, 75 degrees out here in East Central Illinois. Let's go, baby. Oh, it's a beautiful day here for me. It's going to be a beautiful weekend, too. We got a lot of golf to play. That's what I'm talking about right there. I got the window open, the breeze flowing. I got my best buddy here in the background. Life is good. No, life is fucking great. You know, there's probably people right now who just checked their phone to see if the stream cut out. But here's what I was going to say, and I need to be careful because I can't get too far off the rails today. But Arnie and I were making supper last night. We had a nice, not homemade pizza, but kind of homemade-ish pizza. And I don't know if I was cleaning up or getting it ready or whatever it was, but you know, I had a couple different thoughts, and good thoughts. You know, you're just kind of in your own head sometimes, and you can spiral one way. It's usually a downward spiral. You usually have one thought that pops in your head, and then you're like, oh my God, this and that and that and that. And, you know, it makes you very anxious and tight and fearful. It puts you in a weird state. I'd say that's like the normal for people. Just that state of anxiety where they have one thought that comes in their head, and then they kind of spiral it into a whole bunch of other very bad thoughts. But this was the opposite. This was I had an idea or a thought, and I was like, man, yeah. And then I spiraled into another one, and I was like, it's probably going to sound weird because I was by myself. It was just me and Arnie here. But I was like, Arnie, we are fucking killing it. We are fucking killing it. Because it's really easy to, like, you know, get caught up in the day-to-day and just let all of your problems kind of consume your thoughts and live in that state of anxiety. And we don't really take enough time to, like, you know, pat ourselves on the back. Because, like, literally, if you would have asked me 4 years ago what my dream life would look like, it would be pretty fucking close to, like, what I have right now. And I just don't think that we take enough time to tell ourselves and remind ourselves of that. We're always kind of chasing. We're always like, what's next? What do I need to do to advance here? You know what I mean? To climb further up the ladder. And sometimes you just need to stop and just appreciate the view. You know what I mean? And the thing that came next was like, it went away pretty fast. You know what I mean? Like I had that, and you know, we were feeling pretty good, but then it's just like it's gone. That feeling's gone, and it takes work to do that. It's not easy. It's not like the fearful side of things and the anxiety. That's a real easy state to get into. You can very easily find yourself into a downward spiral, but it's difficult to do the opposite of that. And a lot of people call that like gratitude, but gratitude's kind of like not an old word, but like overused. It's like a buzzword. People don't really attach any sort of meaning to it anymore. But yeah, so I thought I'd share that because you know, it's good news for me. It is, and it's like, I think you just you realize that you don't need as much as you think you need. I guess that's kind of the point of it. Because when you're moving in that direction, when you're moving upwards or towards your goal, you're focused on that. You're like, what do I need to do to get me closer to that goal? And you have to have that. But again, sometimes you just need to stop and appreciate the view of where you are right now and give yourself a pat on the back, because nobody else is going to. So yeah, it is beautiful here today. That sat Thursday. That sat Thursday. Praetorian, good to see you. Praetorian says good morning, good people. History in the making. Yeah, we got a good one today. We got a good one. Okay, well, let's Kev zapped 212 sats and said honesty is best. Thank you, Kev. Appreciate that, man. Let's get this finished up and then we'll get into things today. It's kind of like when you're really sick. You know, you're really sick and you're like, man, I would give anything. I would give anything to feel better now. I want this to end. I want to start feeling good again. And then all of a sudden you're feeling good again, but you don't really appreciate the fact that that happened. You're just kind of like, you take it for granted. That's the whole point. So yeah, this is where we are today. We're in epoch number 5, the 5th epoch, which means the subsidy is 3.125. The supply is 20.06 million, which is 95.53% of the total supply, which means there's 0.94 million, only 0.94 million Bitcoin left to be mined for the next 114 years. 114 years. There's 0.96 million, 960,000, or 4.47% for 114 years. Wow. Wow. The exchange rate today, I haven't done this for a while. The exchange rate today, if you got yourself $1 US, 1 unit of illusion, 1 unit of absolute garbage, 1 unit of shit, you can trade that. One of these fucking pieces of paper that somebody printed and said that it was worth something. You trade one of these and you can get yourself 1,544 sats. Whoa, 1,545 sats. Sorry. 1,545 units of freedom, units of sovereignty, units of reality. That's what it is. That's what these are. These are units of reality. And people think the price of them go up and down. They don't. They just measure everything else. That's the unlock that you have to have. Bitcoin's not volatile. The world is very volatile, and Bitcoin just measures it. That's what it is. But yeah, I mean, think about that. You can trade 1 unit of nothing, one unit that somebody else can print out of thin air. You can trade that for 1,545 units of reality. 1 unit of the worst money in human history for 1,545 units of the best money in human history. That's a pretty good trade. That's a pretty good trade. Around here, we call that the deal of a lifetime. The deal of a lifetime. And you got it right in front of your eyes today. Chuck bought a membership. Look at that. So Chuck is on the board again with a memby. Maybe a couple points for that one. And Plural was the recipient. So thank you, Chuck, and congrats, Plural. There's Duncan right there. Duncan's on Zapstream. Duncan's on Rumble. Chuck with another one. Membership for Duncan this time. Chuck with a memby. Okay, Chuck's looking good today. Chuck is looking good. Where's Rumble? Okay. So Chuck with look at this. We got Chuck with 2 memberships, Chuck with a Fat Zap, and Chuck with Fiat Zap here. Which means one thing. A Satoshi hat trick. A Sat trick for Chuck. Okay, let's see it. The Zap, the membership, and the rant. The Satoshi hat trick. Here we go. Heck yeah. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Chuck. Okay, so we're going to get down to the bottom of this right away here. I see I have a lot of comments to go through, so I might talk about this right away here. Okay, so we got BTC is female. It's a new face. New face, or is it? I feel like I've been seeing a lot of BTC is female on Twitter lately. So BTC is female is in the house today. But here's the question. Is this account a male or a female? We know that there's 2 options in life. You're a male or you're a female. That's it. I'm going to guess it's a male. But I could be wrong. BTC is female. If you're still here, let us know. Are you M or F? Male or female, but that's it. Good morning. Turtles all the way down. Plural. Barber, everybody's chatting here. Everybody's Lawpad. Look at this. Lawpad is in the house. Vic joined us on Rumble. Good to see you, Lawpad. He's down the rabbit hole. He is down the rabbit hole. Ricky Ricardo says, even Russia unveils rules for crypto exchanges and custodians while the U.S. struggles to pass the Clarity Act. Ricky, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here, my friend. Bitcoin doesn't need the government. Bitcoin doesn't need anybody's approval. Mark says, my weekend was great. A very nice tribute to my dad and a lot of fun at the beach. Heck yeah, I love that. That's awesome, Mark. You probably had some good weather here too, eh? It was nice here last week. Okay, so this is the page that Scotty Boy created, but I'm working on the site while watching also. Okay. Let's see if I can find that one. Okay, we got a couple just letting people know we got a couple whites in the chat today. We got a couple whites in the chat. We got Vic Schutz and we got Stells Rowe. Robert, we got a couple whites. We need Josh here. Josh wouldn't tolerate that for very long, or Sats and Sunsets. But Chuck already took care of 2 of them. But Joshua doesn't like the whites. He likes everybody to be a redneck. But anyways, where's this Scotty boy? Let's check this out. Okay, looks like we got whoa, Letha made a big zap. Couple big zaps. Over in Scotty stream. Scotty stream. We had a big zap from Scotty. He zapped a king zap. Scotty boy. Okay, well, that's a biggie. Testing out his app. See, well, I think it worked. Looks like it worked on here. I don't know. I'll have to verify on the wallet. But and Letha zapped a big one too. We got Letha and Scotty with a couple king zaps over on Scotty stream. Thank you, Scotty. Thank you, Letha. Love that. And it looks like it's working today. Let's try this out. Maybe Scotty got this fixed. Remote signer. We'll do it quick here. Open up Primal. Oh, it looks like we're live on Primal. We're right at the top. We got 7 people over there on Zap stream. Good to see. Don't have a name for the show, but we're live. Okay, so I need remote signer. This is probably gonna, I don't know, we'll try her. Nope. Looks like it worked for Letha though. So I don't know why it's not working for me, Scotty. Wonder if it has something to do with my phone. Anyways. Got nothing witty to say, but just wanted to add to the algo. Thank you, Kev. Good to see you, man. It's an old stream until Jor can log in somehow updated. Oh, okay. So I have to do that. My batch was camping with the boys, whiskey around the fire, good music, beers on the trail, carne asada. What's that mean, Vic? Carne asada. Is that a place? No fault divorce happened. What do you mean? No fault divorce happened. Uncle Mergen. Uncle Mergs. Mergs, what are you talking about? Paradigm, that guy, Richard Nixon, replaced gold with paper money. That's true. That bastard. Gringo Poppy's here. Good morning, Gringo Poppy. See, it worked for Letha. What the hell? Throw says, parents split a couple years before the fallout in 08. Fiat fuckery definitely played a role. Ain't no coincidence. So many stories like that, plural. So many stories like that. It's tough. You shouldn't have to fight about that kind of shit, man. Shouldn't be. You got both parents working their ass off and you're still struggling to pay the bills. No, never. Should never happen that way. You know how much fucking resources and abundance we have in this world? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy to me that we've let it get this far. Vic says, today's takeaway is marry a Bitcoiner. Yeah, they'd be hard to find, though, I think. BTC is female, says maybe. Genders and boat accidents. Well, they're not going to tell us. That's okay. Oh, no, we got it. F. Female. Really? Okay. Oh, I believe you. We've been sat fish before, though. We've been sat fish before. It didn't happen on this show because I don't. We don't give away sats here, but there's been instances in the past where we were sat fished. What was that girl's name? I always want to say Amy, but it wasn't Amy. I always forget it. Amy, Annie. I don't know, but we got sat fished hard. Thankfully, I didn't. There was a couple of people who lost a lot of sats to somebody who we thought was female. But let's live and learn, live and learn. But we have no reason not to trust. What could we call? What could we call them? BTC is female. Need a nickname. That's too long of a name. Too long of a name. But we got some great women in here. We got Maria. We got Jenny. We got Letha the Icon. We got Sharon B. We got Lori's here. A couple Lori's. Probably gonna miss some now. We're a mostly male chat. Oh, we got some great women in here. Truly, the best kind. It's impressive that you were able to go live on multiple platforms at once. Yeah, I can go live on I think the maximum is 10. I pay a lot. I pay a lot for StreamYard. It's like $120 a month for me. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. So it makes you wonder. But thankfully, we got a lot of great people here, like Letha, like Scotty, like all of our friends over in the Zap stream that make it happen, because we got no sponsors here. Zero. But we still got expenses. We got a lot of expenses. So we got to find a way. We do find a way. Drink of choice for this weekend. I actually went into town yesterday. It was funny. This is kind of a funny story. I told Cedar this a little bit last night in the chat, but I went into town yesterday. I had to get some groceries, get some water, distilled water. We have a well here, but some of us don't drink from it. But anyways, so my favorite beer, especially in the summertime, is Sol, S-O-L, Sol. And so I went into the beer store or the hotel here and walked in. Actually, when I pulled around the corner, I saw the semi. And it's funny because I live in a very small town. So the semi was literally blocking the whole road. It backed in. And it was hilarious to me. I'd never seen this happen before. So the semi was parked on the road, taking up the whole road. And then there was a little chute, a little runway. What would you call that? Like a laundry chute kind of thing. So the guys putting them from the semi onto the chute. They would go into this little hole in the side of the hotel where the hotel worker would grab the beer. I don't know if that's how it always works. I've never seen beer unloaded at a hotel like that before. But anyways, I saw Sol in there. And I almost went and just grabbed it, Robin Hood when they're moving bags of money down the line. So I went in. I look at the sign there. It said Sol, sold out. There's a sale on Sol, so it said sold out. And so the girl comes to the front and she said, "What can I get you?" I said, "Well, it says you're sold out of Sol, but I'm pretty sure I just saw some coming down the line from the semi." And she's like, "Yeah, you're probably right. Let me go check." So I got 2 cases of Sol and I got 2 cases of long drinks. So I got beer and I got the seltzers. And I'll probably bring a bottle of whiskey too. So might be a big weekend for the kid. It's supposed to be hot, hot, hot. Supposed to be hot, hot, hot. That's who it was. Emily. Satfish. How does that work? Well, a lot of the boys thought that she was a female. She had a nice profile picture of a good-looking female. And so they would send her sats. So just like how you get catfished by a fake person or a fake profile, the boys got satfished, sending her sats. And I don't think she was a female. I don't think she was a bot, but it was a clever scheme that took generational wealth from a few fellas that we also haven't seen in a while. So I don't know. It's a big conspiracy. We might have a movie about it someday. Emily the Satfish. Satfishing with Emily. Everything broke in 1971. Bitcoin equals less stress. Yeah, 100%. More time, less stress. That's the whole point of it. Scotty Boy's eating some za. Okay, David T says, I've supported BIP 110 for a while, but I'm still learning and open to hearing the arguments on the other side. I'll continue to support here, whatever the outcome. That's the kind of attitude that I like. That's the kind of attitude that I like. But I have noticed, I'll tell you this, and some people might disagree with me here. But I have noticed that the narrative is beginning to change a little bit now. It seems like some of the big supporters and big proponents of BIP 110 are starting to kind of backtrack a little bit, or at least hedge their bets on things, because it's not looking good. And the whole thing to me was kind of fugazi. I think they played on people's emotions. They did it pretty well. And where they really lost me with BIP 110 is that the whole argument, the whole proposal itself was built on fighting spam. That's what it was. They didn't, for anybody who hates spam, we're going to clear the blockchain. It's going to be a pure time chain. We're going to get rid of the spam. That's what BIP 110 was. That's what it was all built on. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, yeah, it doesn't really solve spam, but it's more of a philosophy thing. And I think they lost a lot of people with that. And there's no coming back from that now, because everybody knows that it doesn't stop spam. It's impossible to stop spam on the Bitcoin time chain. And I feel like the harder you try, the more holes you try to patch, the more you just put the foundation itself at risk. And, you don't want to change Bitcoin unless you absolutely have to. And I get the initiative. I get why people are kind of rallying behind it, or were. But, when you look at things logically from a clear lens, it doesn't solve spam. So what's the point? Why are we making changes to Bitcoin so willy-nilly? So that's kind of how I think, it seems like it's kind of lost all its momentum now. I could be wrong. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this is a good way to be, David. And I know that everybody who supports BIP 110, they're doing it for the right reasons, and that's why it's hard to be, I don't like calling people retards. I'm not about that. There's a couple of retards out there, but, I think that most people who are supporting BIP 110 actually were doing it for the right reasons and believe that it was the right thing to do. But again, that doesn't mean that it is. That doesn't mean that it is. But this is a good way to be, David T. And speaking of David T, he sent a zap over on Zapstream. He sent in a big one today, a fat David T zap. I also got to add Kevin on here. Kev. Thank you, Kev. Thank you, David T. Appreciate you, fellas. Okay. Andrew says, thank God for dogs. No doubt, man. No freaking doubt on that. Holy cow. Thank God for dogs. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. I've heard that dogs are, you don't choose your dog, the dogs choose you. Have you guys ever heard that before? I 100% subscribe to that theory. We were looking for a dog here for a while. I knew I wanted a dog, but I was in no rush because I know that it's a big deal. It's a big deal. You got to look after this thing. It changes your life. Not quite to the level of like having kids, but it's a pretty big deal. And so we've been looking at, or I had probably 50 to 100 different dogs sent to me from different rescue shelters around here. And I was like, it's not the right time, or, that one's maybe too aggressive, or that breed is not what we're looking for. And then this guy popped up, and the picture of Arnie on the rescue dog site was so bad. And I'm very thankful that it was such a bad picture of him. It was like sideways. He had his mouth open. It was just like a horrible picture of him. But for some reason, I was like, okay, go check it out. If you want to bring him home for the weekend, we can see what he's like. And that was it. That was it. I said no to many, many dogs, but I still feel like I didn't choose him. That's the whole point, is that even though we would look through so many different dog types and pictures and all this shit from the different rescue shelters, this was the guy that was Man, that's just so crazy. I wish I could find the picture of him. It was terrible. It looked like it was taken with an old Motorola. It was like his worst angle. But for some reason, I was like, okay, go pick him up, see what he's like. And he's been here ever since. But yeah, he sleeps on this bed here, sits on this bed. It was his puppy bed. So it's like half the size of him right now. But he just likes hanging out. He is definitely an angel. There's no doubt about that. Thank God for dogs. Plural says, I thought that recently too. Everything I have now is everything and more that I dreamt of 10 years ago. Even though times are tight, still got to savor it all. Amen, buddy. Amen. Jenny says, hey, yo, in the background. Hey, Jenny. Jenny was a few degrees away from running through her sprinklers naked last night, she said. Stell's Row, Robert. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Robert. Good to see you, man. Great to see you. So BTC is female, says female, just like Bitcoin. So let me ask you this. Why do you think that Bitcoin is female? What's your logic there? We deep down the rabbit hole, no doubt. Low key, you are male. Nice obfuscations for privacy, though. Plebinator says, I'm a trans BIP 110 supporter. Good stuff. Do you see any messages? Yeah, I see them there, Scotty. Are you talking about on your stream, companion? I see them. That is why divorces increased. No fault made it easy to do. Carne asada, what's that? Somebody tell me. Ask your friend who's having a second bachelor party what no fault divorce is. Ask your friend who's having a second bachelor party what no fault divorce is. I'm not going to lie. I probably won't remember to ask him that this weekend. Okay. So let me get through these quickly here. I want to get caught up. You can divorce now because your partner left the toilet seat up. True. And take half their stuff for it. Meat on the grill, preferably beef, thin cut, Mexican seasoned, marinated. Make street tacos with guac, cilantro, onion, hot salsa on it. Ooh, that sounds fucking good. Emily, yes. Wyatt says, plan to get married soon, saving as much Bitcoin as I can, but need to save some cash, unfortunately, for the short term. Yeah, it's good to have some cash, man. That's a good strategy. Plus the crazy chick from Kenya. I forgot about her. What the hell was her name? Yeah, she was a firecracker, no doubt. Annie. Jenny said, so I'm still single because I haven't dated a Bitcoiner. Yeah, probably. BTC is female. I did not know that. Not looking forward to the mempool menopause. Buckle up. Could be a bumpy ride. Jenny says, here in George say semi is making my morning. We use a long I here, Jor. Yeah, I know. Semi. What's the correct one? I don't know. It's probably semi. The US thinks they can just change everything to whatever they want. Not how it works, baby. Bro's got to think with the other head. Yeah, always got to think with the north head. Use that strategy to get answers on forum posts in college. What was the strategy? What was I talking about? Oh, sat fishing? Pretending to be a girl? Why? You must have been the COVID era of university. We couldn't do that in our university because we were actually in person with people. You couldn't identify as anything. Did you actually do that in college? That's crazy. Sat like catfish people? Jenny says, I'm not convinced Emily wasn't a female, but definitely a con. You could be right. Scotty said, I think BIP 110 started because someone in core said, try and stop us or something like that. So people tried to find a way to stop them. Yeah, that's you're probably right. Because there was, I think it was Jameson Lopp up on stage when they were arguing about core versus knots. And I mean, that's another big mix up that's happening right now, is like people are conflating the two. They think that somehow BIP 110 is against core, and these two things are the same. But they're not. Like the Bitcoin core, the Bitcoin knots, that made sense to me. And I decided to run knots because I didn't want core to be able to dictate what everybody has to do. I wanted options. I wanted customization. Not that it really matters, knowing what I know now, it doesn't really matter that much. But the point is, I wanted to decentralize Bitcoin. I wanted more implementations available. So I decided to run knots. That was my vote. But with the BIP 110 thing, man, they lost me. They lost me pretty easily. It just got too sidetracked, too emotional. Matt Cratter lost his fucking mind over it, man. That guy's completely off the deep end. And it just doesn't make any sense. So it's going to fail. People are going to learn lessons. I just hope that not too many people get burned because of it. David T says, when the core squeezed in the op return default change, I started to question. I still haven't heard a good explanation. Well, let me answer it for you here, David. This is my best explanation of it. So Bitcoin Core, the op return filter in the mempool policy, if you're running Bitcoin Core, they changed the default setting from 83 bytes to, I think it was 100 kilobytes or something, which was a very big increase, like a very big increase. And the way that they handled it, they weren't answering anybody's questions. They didn't want to explain why they did it. They were calling people retards. They handled it very poorly. And then, of course, people caught wind of who's funding core or who had funded core in the past. This Gloria character that had a fucking beard, but she was a lady or a girl. It was just a spiral of like, what is going on here? So basically why core did that, from what I understand anyways, is because they want people to be using the op return. They felt that if people were going to add something like spam or whatever to the time chain, they wanted people to use the op return to do it. They felt like that was the safest way to do it. Because if people couldn't use the op return, they were finding much more harmful ways to do it. Or they were going around it, and then it was difficult for the templates and the miners to know what was actually in the mempool. They weren't getting relayed an accurate representation of what was actually in the mempool, because mempool was getting filtered out of it. So the reason why they did it is because they wanted people to use that. They basically opened up this highway. They paved the highway because they wanted people to use that route. They knew that they couldn't stop spam. So they just they paved the highway. They kind of incentivized people to use the op return because that's what they felt was the safest and best thing for Bitcoin. So the limit was always much higher. I think it's always been 1 megabyte since like 2013 or 2014. So you could still have done it, and people can still do it. But they were trying to incentivize people to use the op return to do it. So that's why they increased the filter. But again, you didn't have to do it. You could still set your own mempool policy to not see that stuff if you wanted to. But they just changed the default policy so that if somebody downloaded core, that's what it defaulted to, was 100 kilobytes, because they wanted people to be using the op return for putting stuff on there instead of UTXO bloat or going around it using something like Slipstream. So that's really what Bitcoin Core's job is to do, is make the network more efficient. They're not marketers, they're not communicators, they're developers. And it's not like there's 3 or 4 of them. There's a whole process of how this stuff happens and how changes are made and all this stuff. And the whole thing was really overblown. And again, they handled it terribly. They could not have possibly handled it worse. But here's the thing, is like, it was still a policy change. Even though Core went and did that, whether you agree with that or not, that was still just a policy change. That wasn't a consensus change. BIP 110 is trying to change the foundation of Bitcoin. They're trying to change it at a consensus level, which is much more extreme than a policy change. So to me, it's like, yeah, Core was kind of painted as the bad guy off the hop because nobody understood why they were doing it. They didn't really explain it to people. And then all this other stuff happened kind of behind the scenes and people were looking into it and whatever. But they still weren't trying to change consensus. They weren't changing consensus. The limit was still always 1 megabyte. So whether you used Core or you had a filter on, people could still go around that up to 1 megabyte. And that's still what it is today. So BIP 110 is the ones who are trying to change consensus. That's a big deal. That's much different than changing the default policy on a implementation like Core. So a lot of BIP 110 people kind of rally behind, yeah, fuck Core, but they don't really understand what they're doing. They're trying to change the foundation of Bitcoin at a consensus level. And there's just all this trickery and all these analogies and all this bullshit that they're actually convincing people that this is a good idea. It's not. So that's the explanation. And it makes perfect sense to me. It makes perfect sense to me of why they changed that default to be 100, because they want people to use it. They feel like that's the safest thing. They know that they can't stop spam. So they're saying, here, if you're going to spam it, use this. This is the safest thing for Bitcoin. Makes sense, doesn't it? It's just when you're convoluted by all this other fucking emotional shit, like CSAM, oh my God, like, what are we doing here? There's people out there, I'm sure, that are supporting BIP 110 that actually think that people can upload an image onto the blockchain where you're looking through mempool and you just see a fucking image of whatever. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You can put information in there, ones and zeros, and if you have the right format or the right converter, you can convert that into an image. But like the whole legality of that thing and how much that was overblown was just absolute fucking nonsense. And honestly, I believe that they probably made the whole situation 100 times worse by just talking about it over and over and over and over again. It's almost like they want it to happen. It's just, it seems very sinister to me. And it didn't always feel that way. Again, I was on board with knots. That made sense to me. I ran knots. I still run knots to this day. I probably won't be for much longer, but this whole thing is just like, it's nonsense. And we're going to figure it out soon, whether you agree with me or not. Okay. David T says, pretty good breakdown, Jor. I can see that, but it seemed there was opposition to the change. From what I understand, Citria really wanted the change for their business use case. And that was another thing, like the NOT side and now the BIP 110 side, they've really rallied around these buzzwords like CSAM. They've made it very emotional for people, and spam, and, you know, big Bitcoin now, and Citria. And if you actually look at what happened with Citria, the real story is much different than what we were told. And I mean, when you look at these things from like a surface level, you're like, oh man, I don't want Citria and Jameson Lopp. They shouldn't be deciding what Bitcoin is. I want to have a say here. But the opposition for the change, it didn't really matter though, because Bitcoin's core's job is not to listen to people. They're developers. And I'm just going to go out and say this. They know much better than I do about code. I could not write a fucking... without the help of AI, I could not set up the most simple website on the planet. So I'm not the person who's going to be telling Bitcoin Core what they should or shouldn't do. They're developers. They're not communicators. So even if they had opposition, it's not their job to listen to people and say, hey, you should be doing this. Like just imagine any other industry, like an architect or a doctor or anything, these specialized people who have this knowledge, and somebody who doesn't have that, they start telling them what to do. Do you think that they're going to listen to them? No. So why would we do that in Bitcoin? It doesn't make any sense. And people who are opposing it, even what right or wrong, it's not Core's job to listen to them. It's just not. And that's the whole thing. They don't need a consensus to make a policy change, right? Like that's what you have to understand here. Bitcoin Core is an implementation of Bitcoin. They changed a policy setting in that implementation of Bitcoin. They don't need your approval to make that change. They make the change and you get to decide which implementation that you want to run. So you have Core, you have Knots, you have Libre, you have all these different implementations. It's up to you to decide which one you want to run. But Core didn't try to change the consensus of Bitcoin. Like, that's what people have to understand. Core did not change the consensus. They didn't say, hey, we're increasing the rate of or the limit of op return so everybody can put whatever they want on here. They didn't do that. They changed a setting in their policy of their implementation. BIP 110 is trying to change the fucking rules of Bitcoin. Like, it's crazy. And again, even if Citria was involved and there was something sinister there, it does not matter. That's the point. It does not matter. Because you can just simply run a different implementation of Bitcoin. And you can change the policy so that you don't have that running through and being relayed through your node. Like, it's a super technical conversation around these things, but also nobody can like really explain it at an average person, knowledge level. And that's why it's such a hard thing to like wrap your head around. And I think that that's really why BIP 110 has, got so much traction, is because they've been able to explain their side of the story to the average person. Like, with all these different analogies and all these emotional things that they just talk about. Crowder's whole fucking YouTube channel is just full of BIP 110 shit. It's nuts to me. Crowder's toast, man. He's done. He's toast. And it's sad because he was a net positive for Bitcoin, but I no longer feel that. I have zero respect for Matthew Crowder. And even, here's the thing, even if his heart's in the right place, which it could be, even if he really believes he's doing the right thing, which he could, the way that he's doing this whole thing, like the slurs and the attacks on people, he accused Adam Back, Michael Saylor, basically in a roundabout way, calling them pedophiles without any sort of evidence. You know how fucked up that is? Again, it's one thing to be called a retard. Most people it's not going to ruin their life over being called a retard. But when you call somebody a pedophile, that's a different thing. And that's their emotional vector that they've been using against anybody who opposes them. And it's fucked up. It's really fucked up. Is it the woman that mines, or is it the man that mines out of the woman? I see it as, this is what people think too. They think that we need to do this so that, big Bitcoin is going to be, but it's not. Big Bitcoin doesn't. Nobody's changed the rules of Bitcoin. Nobody's changed the consensus. Core did not change the consensus of Bitcoin. Core does not have the ability to change the consensus of Bitcoin. Bitcoin Core, some developers from Bitcoin Core could propose a change to Bitcoin. They could propose it, but that doesn't mean that anybody has to adopt it, just like what's happening with BIP 110. So there's no immune response needed because nothing changed. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to say. And I know it takes different ways to say it to understand what I'm saying here, but like, Bitcoin doesn't, the immune system here is not necessary because nothing changed. Core didn't change anything about Bitcoin. There's no response needed. BIP 110 is the response to nothing. It just doesn't make any sense. Is the man crucial in producing a valid transaction? They need to nickname him Crash Out Crowder. Yeah, he's fucking toast, man. He's gone. As for consensus change, trying to understand that. Some BIP 110 is saying they aren't changing it. They are. Okay, well, don't trust me here. And again, you can't, there's so many stories being told right now. There's so many different stories being told and narratives, and just like, oh man, it's crazy. Okay, so let's try this. Let's just look at Gemini. Let's have a conversation here. And we can do this if you want me to do this with something other than Gemini. We can too. If you have a different suggestion, doesn't matter. It's going to tell us the same thing. So let's. I know, it's kind of lame to use AI, but I just don't. You don't need to trust me, is what I'm saying. So let's go with this. Are you familiar with the BIP 110 proposal? See if Gemini knows what they're talking about. Reduce data, temporary soft fork. Okay, so I see an election info changes quickly. This is a Bitcoin election, 100%. Maybe I should just do Bitcoin election coverage for the next week or the next 9 days. Bitcoin election coverage 2026. Is this going to change consensus? Or sorry, let me change this. Is this a consensus level change to Bitcoin? I don't think there's any doubt in that statement, right? Can we agree there? BIP 110 is strictly a consensus level change to Bitcoin because it introduces new restrictive rules regarding script validation, block structure, and transaction parsing. It requires widespread agreement across the entire network. If a node running BIP 110 rules encounters a block that violates them, it will reject that block as invalid, while a node running the older software would accept it, meaning it would trigger a hard fork or a contentious chain split if miners and users are not fully aligned. Okay, I guess I can't ask any more questions. Oh, there we go. Was Core V30 decision to increase op return filter a consensus change? No. The decision in Core V30 to expand the op return filter was not a consensus change. It was strictly a mempool policy change. The difference in this context. So this is important. This is what we need to understand here. And again, I know that there's been a lot of bullshit going on, but I really believe that this kind of stuff is going to make us all better for when this happens in the future, when there's a real issue that we have to address in Bitcoin and something that can actually be solved. Consensus rules define what makes a block mathematically and cryptographically valid according to the protocol rules. So consensus defines what make a block mathematically and cryptographically valid according to the protocol rules. So they're trying to change the protocol rules. That's what BIP 110 is doing. If a node violates a consensus rule, the network rejects the block entirely. At the consensus level, Bitcoin has historically permitted larger or unconstrained scripts, and miners could technically include transactions with large data payloads if they chose to bypass the filters. So a mempool relay policy defines what local filters that a specific software implementation like Bitcoin Core uses to decide whether it will automatically accept, store, and relay a transaction through the network before it gets mined. So because Core 30 is only a default policy setting, node runners or node operators remain entirely free to manually override the setting. Huh. keeping the old restrictions. Like, that's what this whole thing's over. That's what this whole thing's been based on. But you can still just change it manually yourself so that you don't have to run that yourself. Crucially, it did not cause a network split because a node running V30 and a node running an older version still agree completely on what constitutes a valid block. Let's see this. Why did Core make this change? Okay, so there's a lot to read here. So Bitcoin Cores changed their version, primarily driven by a pragmatic shift in philosophy regarding data footprints, mempool architecture. Man, it's even hard to read this shit. You know what I mean? Let's explain this to me like I'm a very non-technical person. I don't like analogies. Okay, let's go back to this. So what Core 30 was trying to do is mitigate the UTXO bloat. And there's been a lot of narratives that, like, if BIP 110 doesn't succeed, then there'll be a whole bunch of UTXO bloat. It's bullshit. So this is why Core did this, is because they were trying to mitigate the UTXO bloat. They wanted to incentivize and push people towards using the Opportune because they felt that that was the best thing to use for it. They knew they couldn't stop it. They're developers. They know better than me. They know better than you. They know that they can't stop spam on a censorship-resistant network. So what they did is, opening up the filters, they said, hey, use this. This is the safest way to do this. If you're wanting to waste sats and put, extra data on the time chain, use the Opportune, because we don't want you bloating the UTXOs. So the problem is, when the strict filters historically restricted the Opportune sizes, users and protocols wishing to store data on chain routinely bypass the restriction by encoding data inside the UTXOs, such as through various inscription or token workarounds. So because there was this filter on Opportune, basically people were just going around it. They weren't using it. They weren't paying attention to it. And I heard somebody say this the other day. The policy change was basically like putting up a sign that says, speed limit is 100. That's what a policy change did. If you changed it from, if you added a sign that says, hey, 100 kilometers an hour, this is the speed limit here. That's a policy change. That's what Core changed. They put up a sign, or they took down the sign. But what BIP 110 is trying to do is they're actually trying to change the speed limit. So that's the difference here, because even if there's a sign up, you can still go around it. You can still increase your speed without any sort of consequences there. So the fix here is, like, unlike standard outputs, Opportune outputs are provably unspendable and are instantly pruned from the UTXO set, meaning they do not permanently bloat the active state of full nodes, tracking forever. Proponents argue that encouraging data via Opportune is structurally healthier for node operators than forcing data into the UTXO expanding mechanisms. So the people who were in agreement of Core 30's change of increasing the Opportune filter, they said that encouraging data through the Opportune is structurally healthier for node operators than forcing it into UTXO expanding mechanisms. So that's it. That's all there is to it. Like, it's not, I know Core handled it fucking terribly, but they aren't funded for their marketing team. They aren't funded for having a communication team. They're funded to develop the software and maintain the software. Glad we can discuss this. It's pretty technical. I'm still on both sides. I understand BIP 110. I understand BIP 110 is core 29 with a few code changes that core 30 put in. No, it's not though, David, because BIP 110 isn't taking us back to core 29. You could go back, David. You could go back right now and run core 29 yourself. That's a choice that you make if you're running a node. You can run that yourself today. BIP 110 is changing the whole rules of Bitcoin. It's not going back. That's another narrative or analogy that BIP 110 keeps using. It's not going back because I think there's 7 or 8 different changes to the protocol, the consensus level of Bitcoin that BIP 110 is changing. It's not going back to anything. It's changing the foundation of Bitcoin, the structure of Bitcoin. So you don't need BIP 110. If you want to go and run core 29, you can do that today. Me personally, I'm probably going to run core 30. I'm probably, well, not probably, sometime within the next week, I'm going to switch from knots to core 30. Because probably when BIP 110 fails, that side's going to lose their mind. They're going to go insane. And I doubt that Luke is going to keep maintaining the knots implementation. And again, I see why core 30 did that now. It makes a lot more sense to me why they did that. So I'm just going to go run core 30. I mean, we shouldn't laugh because again, I'm really not trying to pick on people here at all. Because I think from people's perspective, I really believe that most people here believe that they're doing the right thing for Bitcoin. And because they've been lied to. It's really as simple as that. And whether that's nefarious or not is not the point. The point is they've been lied to. BTC Hunger Pains, good morning. Metal Detecting England says, I'm still holding my 1 Bitcoin, annoyed though, as could have sold at 120K and bought nearly 2 with it now. You're measuring from fiat, my friend. You're still stuck in fiat land. Okay. Well, okay, let's see this. BTC Hunger Pains. From what I understand, Core 30 allows enough data for bad pictures. No. This is wrong. The current version of Bitcoin, whether it was Core 25 or Core 27 or Core 30, they all allow enough data for bad pictures on there. All of them. Ever since 2013 or whenever it was, the limit for that is 1 megabyte. But you still can't even upload. It's not like you can upload an image to it, right? Like, it's not like you'd be going through the mempool and all of a sudden there'd be an image on there. You can just put more data on there that you can convert. If somebody were to copy and paste that data into a converter that would display an image there. It's not like these images are being stored on the mempool or on a website or something like that. So this is wrong. And this is why they've been able to like muster up so much support for it, which really to me is very, it seems very nefarious to me of why they're doing this, because they're lying to people. Core 30 does not allow that. That's not what Core 30 did. You could have done that before. You could actually do it up to 1 megabyte. I know that this is hard to like wrap your head around how the whole thing. I get it. Like I've gone through this whole thing myself. I get it. But Core 30 did not allow that or enable that to happen. It was always possible. Ever since the maximum was 1 megabyte. For the last 12 years. What Core did was they had a filter on their policy that said it's 83 bytes. That's the filter that your mempool is going to see. If there was something larger than that, your mempool wouldn't pick it up. But that doesn't mean that somebody couldn't go around that. And that's what they were doing. They were finding ways to go around that filter and add it to the time chain anyways. So Core basically said, hey, this filter is not doing anything. It's actually making things worse because people are finding other ways, more harmful ways to add this data without using the op return. Right? So this is just a strictly false understanding of what it is. And again, I'm not trying to pick on BTC Hunger Pains here, but I really believe that this is what people think. I wish I could find a better way to explain this. I mean, it's not going to matter much, honestly, because it's not going to activate. It's going to fail, and we're going to be back to normal again. I made a post yesterday saying, like, if Bitcoin was $200,000 today, nobody would even care about BIP 110. There'd be like 5 people talking about it, but everybody's bored. Everybody's looking for something to talk about, and that's the real interesting thing to me about the BIP 110 is that I think that with Bitcoin, it's like you start getting into Bitcoin and you maybe buy some, and all of a sudden you see it go up and up and up and up. And you're like, what the hell is going on here? I need to figure out why this is happening. And then all of a sudden you just like completely submerge yourself into Bitcoin and you're listening to every podcast. And every time you have a break in the day, you're listening to a podcast or an old stream or a live stream. And we kind of just like, we want to learn as much as we can about Bitcoin, and we want to always be involved and watching and learning and growing in Bitcoin. But then when the price is down, there's less people like talking about it. Like there's less adoption right now. There's less new people to help. There's less things to do. So now we're just like, well, what are we supposed to do? The price has been fucking 60K for the last 6 months. Everybody's bored out of their minds. So let's just fight about things. Let's introduce this proposal to change Bitcoin. And let's argue about why it is or it isn't. Let's come up with all these narratives and let's, slur all these people and find a new enemy here. That's where we are right now. It's nonsense. It's a symptom of just being bored. It's a symptom of being bored. And you guys really derailed me today, man. You guys really derailed me today, and I'm kind of not pissed about it, but kind of. The game theory, I believe, is if one large miner flips, the rest will also. So I think it's a larger possibility it activates. I think you've been lied to, David. I think you've been lied to. And that's okay. I was lied to many times in Bitcoin so far. If I wasn't lied to, I'd probably have 3 to 4 times more Bitcoin than I have today. For real. If I wasn't lied to so much when I was getting into Bitcoin and, exploring Bitcoin, I would probably have 3 to 4 times more Bitcoin than I have today. You have to understand that. And also, who benefits from BIP 110? Who benefits from it? Who benefits from BIP 110 most? A couple people. Number one, I'd say Start9's done pretty well for themselves, creating all this fear. And again, I love Start9. I have a Start9. I've been a big supporter of Start9 through the years. I just don't like what they're doing. They're directly benefiting from people misunderstanding the situation here and thinking that they need to spend $1,200 US to make a difference in this war. Not good. Not a good look for me. Ocean also benefits from this. Who's involved with Ocean? Luke, Mechanic. The other guy, I forget his name, Datum or something. No, Dahum. Don't care. Won't be relevant right away. Who hurts from this? Who hurts from this? Average people who had to spend $1,200 on their node that they were told was going to make a difference. Who else hurts from this? Everybody's going to hurt, because now all of a sudden we had different options here. Bitcoin was actually decentralizing more with Core and Knots as options for people to run as their implementation. And now Core is probably going to be gone. So everybody's going to suffer from this. Yeah, I mean, who exactly? Everybody's pointing to like Citria as like a beneficiary of Core changing their op return default policy. Like it actually makes no sense when you think about it for more than 2 seconds. But it's easy to hear. It's really easy to just hear information and then just leave it there. You know what I mean? You don't have to do any more work. Citria benefits. Citria is involved with this. So yeah, obviously I hate this now. But yeah, like who's benefiting from this? And the sad thing to me is like Ocean is a very good idea. The Ocean itself, like the mining protocol Ocean, is a very good idea. But it's going to be gone now too. We're going to lose Knots. We're going to lose Ocean. We're going to lose all these different things that were actually good for Bitcoin because of people's greed. Because of greed. Great teacher right there with experience. Yeah, I've seen it, man. And I haven't been here as long as some people have. Like, you know, I've been listening to people who have been around Bitcoin for 12 years. 12 years. And, you know, I haven't found too many people that I really respect in Bitcoin that are pro BIP 110. And to me, it's just like, okay, well, maybe I've either been brainwashed into a certain way of thinking, or maybe the people that I respect actually know what the fuck they're talking about, and they know how much bullshit this is. Could go either way. But yeah, man, the good news for you, I mean, I just talked about some bad news there for us, is we're probably going to lose Knots. We're going to lose Ocean probably. Maybe not. Who knows? But the good news is you've learned something. You've been through this now. You have it under your belt. You have more experience. Next time this comes around, you'll be a little bit more equipped for it. And that's really what we need. That's what's best going to defend Bitcoin, is people actually knowing how it works. And I'll admit, before the Core versus Knots policy war, and now the BIP 110 versus opponents to it war, I've learned a lot in this. I really have. And I think you have to humble yourself in Bitcoin and just understand how little you know. Otherwise, it'll humble you for it. It'll humble you on its own. You can either, acknowledge that and appreciate how little you know, or you can just get humbled by Bitcoin. It's up to you. You can be humble or get humbled. Bitcoin has to be strong enough to withstand the most insidious attacks. This BIP is a net positive. Yeah, I agree. I know what you're saying. I agree with that. BTC is female is saying that it's that's what I mean. Like, because this is going to happen again, and it's probably going to be even more difficult to decipher right from wrong and real from fake in the future. It's going to get harder, and there's going to be bigger enemies that we have to overcome here. So this is all good. I really believe that this is a very healthy thing for Bitcoin, and we're bored. We're bored in Bitcoin. We need shit like this to keep us entertained. This is like our drama. We don't watch Netflix. We just pay attention to what's going on in the BIP 110 war lately. So yeah, I think that this is definitely a net positive for Bitcoiners, and I just hope that nobody from this community here gets burned by it, because I'm kind of tired of talking about it, but I think it's important. I really do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be wasting my time talking about it, because we had shit to do today. We had shit to do, and we're still going to do it. And we're going to reward the people who have stuck around to this point. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Whoa. Is we're gonna do a little giveaway today. So here's what I'm gonna say. Actually, what can I do here? Do you guys want to hang out for another 20 minutes or so? The shows are going to be changing in the future, so I'm trying to soak up these shows we're having. So if he I missed some comments here. I heard you don't walk the dog. The dog is taking you for a walk. Yeah, that's probably true too, especially if they're a pulley dog. I miss these. Vic said that's why dog spelled backwards is God. Probably something there. Jenny said, I thought Nico was the ugliest puppy. Is Arnie a husky? He's definitely part husky. Mostly shepherd, though, I think. He's got some shepherd, some collie, some husky, some Pyrenees. Marco says, let's make this money. Heck yeah. Any message on my page, or is it on your phone? Yeah, nothing pops up. It just doesn't. It won't scan it, Scotty. White says, love dogs, but want to talk about low time preference. Make friends with a cat. Yeah, we got a cat here. Where is he? He's usually, let's get our camera out here. No, he's not there. He's not there today. But we had him on the show yesterday. Backpacker said he wanted to see Lucky on the stream yesterday. I said it's nothing not special. There's some people who saw it and some people who didn't. But yeah, we start the show with ducks. And yesterday we started the show with a Lucky stream. See if we can find it here. I said it's not that special. It's just Lucky. Lucky actually might be one of the a top cat, one of the world's top cats. And he just showed up here one day. He showed up and never left. But he gets treated pretty good here. He kind of has the best of both worlds. He gets to be outside whenever he wants to be, and he can come inside whenever he wants to. Not many cats have that kind of freedom. Wait, let's see if we can see him here. What happened? There he is. So yeah, this was the Lucky stream to start the show yesterday. He was sitting on the deck, like laying upside down. With his paws up, his front and back paws up, laying on his back. So that was a Lucky stream yesterday. I had to reach over the laptop here. It's kind of shaky. I'm not very shaky overall, but it's hard when you have to. So that was Lucky. That was on the stream yesterday. Okay. BTC is female, says, missed this one. Semi is a truck. Semi is a half boner. Is it? Semi hard? Woman doesn't produce her own eggs. She only mines them from her existing supply. A supply that was a gift to her from her own mother while in the womb. Ooh, that's a deep one. A woman doesn't produce her own eggs. She only mines them from her existing supply. A supply that was a gift to her from her own mother while in the womb. Wow. That's interesting. I've never heard somebody talk about that before or say it in that way. Hey, we got a couple new faces here in the chat. We got Cindeezy, we got Bit Billy. Morning, fellas. Great to see you. Great to see you. Okay, so we're gonna do a giveaway here. But I gotta go grab some water. I'm parched. So let me put on our guy. What should we do here? I'm really screwing myself here, folks. I'm screwing myself. Here. I gotta go. I wonder if we should just do this next week. I don't know. Actually, I want to show you guys this. I tweeted about this yesterday. But take a listen to this guy. I enjoyed this video yesterday. We can watch the first minute or so of it. This guy's name is DC Dave Man. So let's put this up. I like the title of this. It says Bitcoin is open source money, which makes it goated. It's a great title. So let's listen to this for a couple minutes. I'm gonna go grab a water and then we're gonna come back and I got a special little thing we're gonna do here. So be right back.
Hello, my name is David Choi, and today's video is titled Bitcoin is open source money, which makes it goated. So Bitcoin is an open source project / technology. What does it mean for a technology to be open source? So open source projects are when the source code of a certain software is open to the public for anyone to view and edit. Anyone can access the code and make contributions. There is no central authority or corporation that controls it, and they become better and more valuable as more people contribute to them. When someone contributes towards an open source project, it often means they are contributing to something bigger than themselves. And by nature, open source projects are transparent. This creates trust, and with the growing distrust around large corporations and the greed associated with them, I feel like we must be talking more about open source projects. And so some notable open source projects: Wikipedia, Linux, and of course, Bitcoin. So we got Wikipedia. It's open knowledge. Since the inception of the internet, Wikipedia has enabled the democratization of knowledge. It was founded in 2001, and since then it has been written and maintained by a community of altruistic volunteers known as Wikipedians. Anyone can read, write, review, and edit an article. This allows for a checks and balances accountability structure, and although nothing is stopping a rogue Wikipedian from spreading misinformation on the website, it will almost certainly be corrected by the majority who has everyone's best interest in mind for the most part. Once again, it's not controlled by a central authority. This eliminates any biases to dominate the platform. We contrast this to the Wall Street Journal.
Thanks, David. Back to you, Jor. Okay, so that is a guy named DC Dave Man, and a young guy. Great video, though. I encourage you to go and watch that, the full video. And he's got 7 subscribers right now. So you watching this at home right now could be one of DC Dave Man's first 10 subscribers. I'm subscribed to the channel right now. I was number 6, I think. So I'm betting on DC Dave Man. I just like his presentation style. He seems like a level-headed, smart, young guy, and he's into Bitcoin. So just like we do here, we need to support the people. So go over and check out DC Dave Man. Give him a subscribe. You can, if the first 3 people here are going to be, you can always look back in your diary and say, I was one of DC Dave Man's first 10 subscribers. DC Dave Man. So watch the video today if you got some time. It's only like 11 minutes, I think. And leave a comment. Say, watching from 88 Sats Radio, or George sent me. Great video. Something like that. We got to support these folks, man. Especially young guys like that. DC Dave Man. So go over there quickly and subscribe and then come back. Plural said, that is deep. BTC is female. Yeah, I was thinking about that as I was getting some water there. I was thinking about that analogy. And I've changed my mind. I trusted that it was a female before. But now I'm quite certain that that is a female. Because I don't know too many men, or if any men on this planet, who would think of that. You know what I mean? That analogy could only come from a woman. So I guess I'd say I'm about 99% sure that she is a female, but obviously there's still 1% because she could have heard some other female say that and parroted it. But we're going to give her the benefit of the doubt. There's really no reason to lie other than for good OPSEC, but I don't think being a male or a female changes your OPSEC that much. So I'm going to say 99% sure from 80. But after hearing that analogy, only a woman could come up with that. A man would never think of that. Ever. BTC backpack. Oh, fanny packer. Look at this. Where the hell's backpacker today? Haven't seen that bugger yet. Where is backpacker? But it's great to see Fanny. Unfortunately, even though it is a Friday for me today, no shaft for me. But I might make one on the way today, Fanny. I might make a shaft to go, you might say. A shaft for the road. What? Just kidding. I would never do that. Never. Good to see a Fanny Packer. And she said from the whole Packer family. So shout out to Fanny, obviously backpacker, and the kids, Anonymous, Flipper, and Hodler, the whole crew. Good morning. Thanks for coming by today. You missed a good show, I think, anyways. Paulie said, sending transactions to the blockchain is equal to we male plebs shooting sats around the network to grow the womb chain. Is that true? Is that true? BTC is female? Is that accurate? Fanny subbed. Oh, he's donating blood for sats. Nice. Good man. Road shaft. Yes. Huge shaft to go. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Oh, I don't know if this is going to work, though. I'm thinking on the fly here. Can you see the wheels turning? I'm thinking on the fly. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do it. Fuck it. We're going to do it. I cannot let you guys down today. After this font here, the whole show, I can't bail on it now. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a big giveaway today. Yesterday, we gave away 8,888 sats to who won it? Timber won it. Timber won it yesterday. And that was for the people who were on Rumble. That was a Rumble only contest. But today we're opening it up. And we're not going to do 8,000 SAS today. No. Here's what we're going to do. Let's get a good song for this. This is big time. This is the big time, my friends. And today, who's going to be rewarded for it? The people who are here. The people who are here and the people who have been here. What could we put on here? Ooh, how about this one? This is a classic. Peace Train. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give away something a little bit bigger. You know why? Because Bitcoin is energy. Bitcoin is energy. Energy flows. Energy must flow. And so this is a thank you. And today, we are going, not today, right now, we are going to give away, ready? Today we're going to give away 88,888 sats. Will I regret this? No, I will not. Ever. Even when I'm sitting on my rocking chair in 50 years from now and thinking, man, that 88,000 sats that I gave away back in 2026, I could probably pay for my bloodlines, the rest of the houses for their life with that amount. But that's okay. Because like I'm saying here, Bitcoin is energy. We need to remember that. Bitcoin is energy. That's what it is. That's what money is. That's what a currency is. It flows. Energy must flow. And so this is just a thank you for the people who have, helped me get this far. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to do this without people. Not only just like the financial support that people send in every day to the show, but also for just people showing up in here. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much funner. These shows are so much fun when the chat is buzzing and the chat is active and there's questions and there's debates and all this stuff. That's the best part. And so I want to give some back, and we're going to do it today. And I'm going to do it a little bit differently here. I got a couple different things that I'm going to consider here. So number one, I'm going to look at our list here. So we're going to take these guys. We're going to take BitBilly. We're going to take Chuck. We're going to take Cedar Sats. We're going to take Moravian, Sharon B. I was going to do the top 10. I was going to give the top 10 supporters here, but I don't want to leave Bill out. We can't leave Bill out. And this is pretty much a tie here. So we're going to take these ones. And I'm also going to throw one more in here, actually. Duncan. And I'm sorry, Ian and Scotty Boy. I'm definitely not trying to leave you out here, but Duncan's been a very, very big supporter recently and always, really. So these people here are going to get a couple extra names in the hat today. And I haven't been the best at keeping track of this throughout the summer, just because we got enough shit going on. But, these are, so 3, 4, 5. So who we got on here? Jenny, Sats and Sunsets, Joshua, Praetorian, Letha. And I'm just going to, I wrote a couple other names on here that I wanted to add to this. Just for their support, even though they might not show up on this list, they're always here. They're always supporting. So I'm gonna give Maria a couple extra points in here too. I'm gonna give, and again, I'm not trying to piss people off here. I'm trying to say thank you. So these are kind of like the I'm gonna give Mark on here. Mark's here every Friday, sending in some big zaps. And then we got to give some from today. So Chuck earned one today. Chuck actually had a hat trick, so we'll give him 3 extra on here. We're going to give Scotty a couple. Scotty's always here too, so I'm going to give Scotty boy a couple. Scotty sent a big zap in today. Letha sent in a zap today. I'm going to check the zaps too. So if you sent in a zap today and I didn't say thank you, I'm going to give one to Marco for just having a nice comment today. Again, I didn't want to bait anybody or, break up the natural order of events here today. So Marco's on there. We got Plural sent in a zap. We got Scotty boy again. I'm going to put on there. Duncan sent in a zap today. We got Mark with a big one. I'm going to give Mark a couple for that one. Chuck, we had the hat trick there. I'm going to give Chuck an extra one for getting the sat trick. Scotty, we have on there. Letha also sent in a big zap today. And David T. I'm going to give David T a couple too, because he's here every Friday and he's always sending in some big zaps. And then Kev. So now let me check this and see what's going on. So Mike says 8,088 Satoshis is worth 564. Wow, 564 is so generous. So Mike, I wish I could ban you, but I'm not going to do that because that's just such a fucking stupid thing to say. We'll put Mike. We'll put Mike on here as a negative. We'll put him in red. Red. Mike. So if Mike wins, then he'll know that he could have won if he wasn't such a dipshit. And also, it's not 8,000. It's 88,000. Good try, though. Good try. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming out, Mikey. We're going to put in some Michael Jackson here. There we go. Okay, so now what else am I going to do here? I'm going to look through the last couple pages here. And I'm just going to add some names once in a while. Or not once in a while. I'm going to add some, I'm going to look at the last 4 pages here, and I'm going to add some names. And I'm also going to do a little scan through the chat here. You know what? I'm going to give David T a point today. Again, this is all subjective. It's my stats, so I can decide how I want to give them out. But I'm going to give David T a point for keeping an open mind and for being respectful, because that's one thing that's been lacking in this whole BIP 110 debate is respect. So David T, I'm going to give one to Bitcoin is female. I'm actually going to give them two, or her two, because that's a really good analogy that I had never thought about before. But I think that there's actually something to that I'm going to do some more thinking on. I'm going to give Sketchucation one for this funny comment, because we do need some comedy in the chat. Sketchucation, yep. What else is happening in here today? What else did I like? We're going to give LaughPad one. LaughPad's been a big supporter of the channel through the years. And this was a good comment here from LaughPad. We need the laughs. We need the laughs. Who else? Sorry, I know this is probably kind of boring for people, but that's okay. If you're not going to be on the list, don't worry. You can leave because the show's over. We're just going to give away some stats here. I'm going to give one to Plural here for this great comment. Said, everything I have now is everything and more that I dreamt of 10 years ago. Even though times are tight, still got to savor it all. It's a great comment. I'm going to give one to Kev Keith here too, because this stuff matters. You know, it seems insignificant, but this kind of stuff matters. You said, got nothing to say, but I just wanted to add to the algo just to support. So this is the kind of stuff that matters. Who else? Okay, I think that's good for that. I think that's good for there. I'm going to also add, the entire backpacker family. I'm going to put Fanny Packer on here. I'm going to put BTC Backpacker. I'm going to put Anonymous. I'm going to put Flip, and I'm going to put Hodler, because mostly because I love them, but also because Backpacker's been doing really good work, doing a daily show, and you need a family there. You got to have your family support there, and they've been pretty helpful with it all, and I get a kick out of watching that show. So and Backpacker gives away sats every night, so I'm going to put them on there for being generous themselves. And what else could we put on here? I'm going to put Sendeezy on here, of course. Sin's in pretty much every chat that I'm in, and I love having Sin around. Great guy to have. I'm going to give one to Paulie D. Paulie's been around. Paulie's always supporting, always sending sats in from his dog Daisy to Arnie, and he is a visionary himself. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any visionaries in here. We got Bit Billy. We got David T. If you're a visionary and you're not on this list so far, please put your hand up in the chat. I'm gonna throw a wild card in here too. I'm gonna put Spallis on the list, because this is a good comment, number one, but also he or she has had some good comments lately too. If you are a member of the Visionaries and you're not on this list so far, put your name up, put your hand up in the chat. Put your hand up in the chat. I probably should have been doing this throughout the show, but I was pretty distracted. I want to make sure I didn't. Oh, there's a couple up here. There's a couple people here. So I'm going to put Jake on. Jake from 21 Hats. He's a visionary. So these are perks. You know, you might not see these perks every day, but these are the kind of things that matter to me. And so again, this is just a small way of saying thank you. We got Maria on there. Bitcoin Barber. I don't know if he's a visionary or not. I don't know if he's still here or not either. We got Mark. We got Marco on there. He's also a visionary though, so I'm going to give him a bonus for that. Praetorian, Plural's on there. Duncan's on there. Where's Captain? I'm going to put Captain on here too. Oh, and Robert. Oh. Robert. Styles Row. Actually, he would have been added on here anyways. Styles Row. Captain. They're going to get added again anyways, I think. But I hope I didn't miss anybody there. Again, if you're a visionary and you didn't get put on, there's Captain. If you weren't on that list already, please put your hand up here. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to just start putting a couple names on here that I see on my notepad here. So this will be completely random, but these people have been supporting the show. Mike liked that one. I hope Mike wins, because he's not going to win. He'll just wish one day that he wouldn't have been so rude. Okay, so we got Chuck. I'm going to throw Sharon B on here. Sharon B. We got Sats and Sunsets. What was this? Okay, good enough. We got Praetorian is on this list here. We got Robert Stelzrow. We got Sendeezy. We got more Sharon B's. We got another Sats and Sunsets. We got a Moravian. We got another Chuck. We got a Bad Gal B. She's not here today, but she might win. I think she actually won the 88,000 Sats last time we did this. We got Maria. We got the Captain. We got Chuck again. We got Jenny. We got Letha. We got Robert again. And we got Moravian again. And then I think this is going to be, nope, we got another page here. We got Mark. 6.5 Sats. This is going to be a big wheel, man. This is going to be a big wheel. We got Sats and Sunsets again. We got Moravian again. We got Sharon B again. We got last page. We got Andre. Forgot to add Andre. Also, Ian had a big zap yesterday. Ian E. I'm going to give Ian a couple. He always sends in some big zaps when he's here. We got Praetorian again. And we got Maria Duncan. And Chuck again, Captain. And that's it. Actually, I'm going to give an extra one for Andre too, because he's always here. Sometimes he's not talking, but he's a visionary too. So that's a pretty good looking list there. Is the homie Cedar Sats on the list? Yes, Cedar was in the top 10 here. So he's got several names in the hat. Same with Bit Billy. I think that's it, right? Hopefully I'm not missing anybody here. But if you are, too bad. Okay. Cedar said, I've leveled up to homie. Okay, so this is the giveaway. We're going to give away 88,888 Sats. And I'm going to do it on chain too. So you can always hold on to this UTXO. It'll be, because if I send it over Lightning, it's going to get mixed in with all your other stuff. But this is going to be an on-chain transaction. A real one, a legitimate one. We're going to use the time chain to record this moment in history. Scotty said, before you do, I'm off to a job interview. Worked earlier. Oh, you bugger. Scotty, well, Scotty knows what he's doing here. So here we go. This is the list. We're going to throw this on a wheel. This is going to be a fat wheel. So yeah, our biggest supporters here definitely have the best odds because, well, for obvious reasons, but you know, it just takes one. It just takes one. So there we go. We're going to copy this. We're going to take this off the screen. And what song should we listen to while we're making the draw here? What was that wheel we had yesterday? Randomized wheel, random draw wheel. And this is a good song itself. This is who? Matchbox 20. Well, I will. Well, I will. Oh my God, look at that, baby. So here we go. Here we go. Plural requests live here to work. Yeah, Scotty, you're right. Let's put let's add Jerry on here. We got to add Jerry on here. Jerry Legendary. He's not here today, but we can't have Jerry's wheel without Jerry on it. So Jerry gets a single spot there. Wow, that's a lot of should we randomize this? Probably, hey? How do you randomize this? Shuffle. So we got 148 entries in here right now. Couple shuffles, so nobody says we cheated. Okay. Cedar says Pride Wheel. And we are taking we're taking a request from Plural here, and we're gonna play some Kip Moore. Good song for a Thursday before a bachelor party. Okay, actually, Fanny says we should add Michael Jackson to the wheel. Okay. Flipper talks, I listen. Michael Jackson. Who's going to win that, though, Flip? Michael Jackson. What are we going to do if Michael wins? We should decide that. If Michael Jackson wins, if Michael Jackson wins, we're going to give it to Flipper. It was her suggestion. We took it. So if Michael Jackson wins, Flip is going to get the sats. And to make it fair, we'll put Tiger Woods on here, which is anonymous. He's the golfer. And we'll put the duck, Ducky. And that's going to be Hodler. So Michael Jackson is Flip, Tiger Woods is anonymous, and Ducky is Hodler. So they're all in there now for an extra one. If MJ wins, double it. Oh my God. That's okay. So here we go. This is 88,800. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I got to do one more thing. I got to check the zaps, because if somebody sent in a zap and they didn't get put on the wheel for it, then I'm going to feel bad. Okay, believe it or not, it is Fat Zap Thursday today, and we are going to be in the hole. But that's all right. That's all right. We're going to be in the hole for a Fat Zap Thursday. So we have Maria, we had Chuck, we had Letha, we had Plural, we got Scotty, we got Duncan, we got Mark. Who's this? Cedar. Cedar sent in a King Zap today. Thank you, Cedar. I didn't see that. We got to add one more for Cedar on there. Cedar Sats. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. We got David T on there. And Sindeezy and an 88. I don't know who sent the 88, but we'll put another Sindeezy on here. He sent in his Sindeezy Zap. Okay, so here it is. Thought Ducky was Jen. No, it's Hodler today. Okay, so here it is. I'm kind of nervous for this. This is the big Zap. 88,888 sats. And this is just my way of saying thank you and how much I appreciate you all showing up here, helping me, supporting, being in the chat. And again, I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys and girls. So that's what this is. And Bitcoin is energy. The energy must flow. And that's what it's all about, baby. So here we go. The winner of this spin is going to get themselves 88,888 sats in the form of a UTXO on the Bitcoin time chain. So here we go. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Bill. Bill, that is very well deserved, man. Bill doesn't get enough credit around here, that's for sure. He's been a very big supporter of this show and this channel for a long time now. And he's working during our show, so he's never in the chat. He's always watching the shows after. So if he's watching this one later, he's going to be in for a nice treat. So big shout out to Bill. And like I said, he's been a huge supporter of the show. He does a lot of it without any sort of credit or accolades or anything like that. He just wants to support. And the best thing about Bill, too, is I actually met him in person. I met him in person at the Vegas conference last year. But also, whenever he sends a zap, he always sends it to Arnie. Always sends it to Arnie's wallet. But he's also, what he told me anyways, is that every time he sends a zap to Arnie, that's him showing somebody how easy it is to use the Lightning Network, how easy it is to use Bitcoin. So he's doing great things in Bitcoin. He's been a huge supporter of this show. And although he's not in the chat today, he'll be watching this later, I'm sure. And so that's awesome. I'm very happy that landed on Bill. That took a long time. I thought I was going to look up and it was already going to be done, but that was a long spin. So there you go. And one thing I want to do too, just for shits and gigs, because we're already here, we already got all the names on the board. I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to spin this one until somebody in the chat says here. So it's not going to be another 88,000 zap one, but I'll do an 8,888 sat zap for the second place, for the consolation here, for somebody who is in the chat. So here we go. We'll do this one. Sindeezy, we know he's here. Look at that. Sindeezy. So we got Bill with the big one, 88,888 sats. And we got Sindeezy, who we know is in the chat here, who just won a king zap of 8,888 sats. Congrats, Sin. Love that. Okay, so thank you, everybody. Once again, I really appreciate you all. I love you all. Thank you for being here today. And I'll get these sats sent out. Sin, yours is going to be on Lightning, but Bill's will be an on-chain zap. So that's what I got for you today, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Freaking 2.5 hour show. I was supposed to do like just over an hour. But anyways, I got to pack. I got to go. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. This was the Fat Zap Friday of today, but I'll probably be back Monday. It is a long weekend here. It's August long, but I'll probably be here. If I know me, we'll be back here on Monday. So there we go. Some people who were on that wheel might not have even known that they were on the wheel. So anyways, let's get out of here. Thanks, everybody. I hope you all have an amazing long weekend as well. And I appreciate you all very much. And we'll be back here sometime next week. I'm thinking Monday, but I don't want to make any promises because it is a long weekend. So we'll see. But anyways, thank you all. I love you all. We'll talk to you very soon. And have a good long weekend. How many long weekends do you think we get in our life? 12 times. Not that many. So enjoy it with your friends, with your family. Get some sunshine, have a couple beers, and turn off the BIP 110 talk for a while. Talk to you soon.